And we're back. Welcome back to my channel, guys. On the OnReviewCast, I'm your host here, Ash, and it's your number one go-to show for all things media. And today we're taking a look at Squid Game, Season 3, Episode 2 of the Squid Game. Yeah, guys, and just like every other episode, we get started with our episode breakdown, courtesy of Fandom. Their episode breakdown for Season 3, Episode 2 is entitled Starry Night. And yeah, it's called Starry Night. And here we go. Starry Night is the Baeohanbam is the second. Oh, well, that's the Korean pronunciation. Starry Night is the second episode of the third season of the Netflix series Squid Game, and is the 18th episode of the series overall. Synopsis: the games resume, and Gi-hun fixates on confronting Kang Dae-ho. Meanwhile, Kim Jun-e faces a sudden crisis that pushes her willpower to its limits. Or I must say, Jun-e, Kim Jun-e does face those limits as well, for sure. Now, man, this episode, I think season two of episode 3, I think is probably the best episode of the series overall. Honestly, I think like it's being said as a hard controversy that season 3 kind of flops with the Squid Game here going on. But I think that this episode is probably, I think the consensus was like this episode was the highlight of the Squid Game and the episode and in general of the series. And I gotta say, just like how the game starts off, and this episode starts off with the episode where we left off before, with the episode of hide and seek, and everybody's in the field now, everybody's in the playground now trying to hide and seek. And just to catch you guys up, is basically that Squid Game, this episode features where they have the game of hide and seek, where if you find a player, you ultimately have to kill them. So it's the red versus the blues. The reds attacks, and the blues, basically they have to get away and survive as long as the game essentially lasts. And that's essentially the main parameters of this particular game. So yeah, it starts off just with those things essentially in mind. And Thanos' little crony that we were talking about, and the Bitcoin guy decided to team up, and this is their basically, it's Myungi and Mingyu. They decided to Namgyu 124 and 333 decided to partner up and started going on a killing spree. And eventually through this, they do the calculations, and they recognize that the more blues they kill, the less chances are for any reds to move on. And so again, like just going on a killing spree together, they team up, and they're just hunting down these blues. And just like previous episode, they were talking about maybe partnering up, and that actually goes forward with fruition. And so in this game of tag, I guess I gotta agree with the senses of like, this is a very interesting game, because in terms of like Squid Game, we didn't really know exactly what kind of games like they were gonna introduce inside of season 3 and etc. So the game kind of basically starts, and everybody's like basically running around trying to see exactly how to get out of here. But it's very reminiscent of like season 1's marbles game, where it's like, well, at the end of this, someone's gonna die. Someone's gonna either live or someone's gonna die. Someone's gonna be murdered by the end of this. Something I thought that was like a nice touch within this this game was that you had to basically cooperate and work together rather than surviving on your own, because there was definitely some individuals that went off on their own who was like, no, we're better, who probably thought that they were better on their own, and going after certain things. I mean, going after the exit on their own. So that was a part of it too. The Blues had to survive for as long as the game was ended, or they had to find the exit, and once they found the exit, they were basically safe, and they got to pass and go into the next round. Anyway, so we had our main cast, our main characters here, of the Gimja, the old lady Gimja, and the Junie, which was we'll talk about in the description, who was the main character, and Hyun Ju, player 120, the transgendered individual. They all decided to partner up together, and they figured out this key, I guess, so to speak, or this advantage, I want to say. Maybe they figured out how the game works, that they need all these keys to basically open up particular doors. Because, like, let me know what you guys think in the comment. When they first introduced this games and the parameters of this game, I thought it was kind of like weird, because, like, well, I mean, the fact that we had, like, how they explained it was, I think it was kind of weird. They were saying stuff like, once you like open a door, you can't reopen a door or something like that. And I was like, okay, so I guess they can only open doors once with the keys that they received, which is kind of, I guess, like weird, where they would just have to find a specific box or a specific room to hold up in. And I guess once they do that, they'll be safe if only temporary. So yeah. Anyway, it's pretty much like more the rules are more like each player has a specific key for a specific keyhole shape within the many doors within this maze arena, basically, that they are essentially involved in. And one of the captivating things about this episode is that Daeho is just running or attempting to run for his life in general, because he's on the blue team and Gion is on the red team. And Daeho is desperately running for his life to escape Gion, because he knows that Gion at this point does actually blame Daeho for the incidences of, like, I think like 2 episodes ago, with the whole team basically getting slaughtered because he didn't bring the clips in time. And you guys know where I stand with that. You guys know how I feel about that. I'm not going to go back to that. But I will say that, Gion is a man on a mission right now, and he's fucking ignoring everybody. He doesn't want to kill anybody but Daeho. He sees all kind of blues that come past his way and all kind of individuals. And then at one point he actually sees Daeho across from him in another room, divided by this like large sterile drop thing. And like, but he can't get to him, right? And he's standing on a higher level than Daeho, who was basically looking at him. And I think there was some kind of like symbolism that was going on with that particular scene. The mother and the son from the mother and son couple, he's trying his hardest, his damnedest to find someone to basically murder. But like, I mean, it looks like for the most part he's struggling for the most part, and he runs into another red, and he puts up he's basically freaking out, and you can kind of basically tell that like this is going to be a more challenging game for him in general. I want to comment about something about this game in general, though. I thought that this was, like I said earlier, like I didn't know that they were gonna like I had no idea what kind of games they were gonna come up with season 3, but I think that this is handled really well. I think this is brilliant, actually. This idea of like tag, it's just, I don't know, it's just so cool with tag on a deadlier level. And I was even like, you know, guys, like when you're like anticipating something like the show like Squid Games, you're probably thinking about like what kind of games you could probably play or set up if you were like some kind of like game designer. And I didn't think of I guess tag did cross my mind, but like tag a version like this, very, very brutal and very, very like very interesting. And the rules for this were basically that the reds have to kill the blues, like I mentioned, but the red cannot kill red, right? That's against the rules. And they never said that like blues couldn't kill reds, but just that they won't pass if they kill reds, or etc. And we see the way they play that out fantastically, I think, in like this with the transgendered individual that's like, she's a fucking beast at this. She takes on 2 Reds through this, but I'm gonna talk about that more in the details. But like, I thought that like that was just like, she showed some strength there. That was just like, yeah, that was just like a show of force, a show of strength, and she is she is that talented. It's really good. Watching this on the first time, I was confused, I'll admit, about, again, the parameters of the game, because like these guys, I feel like sometimes, although this game was good, this series was good, sometimes when they explain the rules, it's not exactly clear, and like we have to kind of figure it out or think about how we could use it to our advantage. And that's kind of a good thing, bad thing, kind of, as like the viewer, we kind of have to kind of like guess and do some like mental work. It was like, well, what does this mean for red team? What does this mean for blue team? And I kind of enjoy that a little bit, but I could see how some viewers might not necessarily enjoy that, because they're not necessarily being very clear as to like what their intentions are. But I think that's a part of like Squid Game's charm, if I'm being quite honest. And the fact that they didn't mention all the details in this, I was kind of thinking like, because like Namgyu and the Bitcoin guy teamed up and they killed a guy together, and I was like, well, what does that mean? Does that count as, because they said you have to kill, Reds had to kill someone, and like it was just confusing. There's a Red had to kill someone in order to pass. Like, does that mean like if they kill someone together, does it count as 0.5? If they kill someone where they double team, do they both get it? If they kill someone, it has to be individual. And I thought that was a little bit strange to me, because they killed this guy at the same time, they stabbed him at the same time, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, does that count as white and hair? And she's been the announcer's been announcing the individuals who's passed and who has like been eliminated. And the first guy that they killed, we didn't really necessarily even hear like, oh, X, Y, and Z has been X, Y, and Z from the red team has passed or anything like that. It was just this guy's get killed. So on first watch, I was kind of like, is this gonna work? Is this even gonna work, like with them working together? Like, was this even make like any sense for them to be working together? Or probably is it just null and void and they're just murdering a bunch of people for no fucking reason, just eliminating eliminating essentially the competition. Anyway, it's in this series also that Namgyu loses Thanos' this little drug chain, and Minsu actually finds it, the guy that's shy and who is being bullied through this entire endeavor. And it's when he starts taking drugs. Don't do drugs, kids. He starts taking drugs, and that leads to a player's death that we'll talk about later on in the series, who is just honestly fucking annoying. And in this game as well, we also see that Junhee sprains her ankle trying to get away from one of the Reds while teaming up with the transgender individual and the old lady from the Old Lady and Son couple. And it's where this is where they first like interact with a Red at first. And this scene where she like fights the Red, and the music is pumping in the background, I was like, oh, let's go, let's get it on, man. Again, I gotta give kudos to the entire production team, this entire thing. Like season 2 and season 3 of Squid Games, the audio team, very, very good. Way to go on that part, because they killed it here with that music, that bum 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 bum. But we felt that like it was like time to fight. Like honestly, it's like really, really cool. And man, like her character through this entire thing, like I said, was just really, really fun to watch, because like she took down this red vested character with complete ease. It was enough to show struggle at the time, but like she just it was evident that she was just basically in control, not ease, but like it basically showed that she was in control. And like it was very, very cool, that scene. Of course we got to see a couple of scenes with the old guy, and I think this honestly amplifies the fact that during stressful situations, or during life or death situations, you really get to see, you know, the kind of people who people are, and the kind of people are. And it just proves like that man or that guy is essentially a coward. I'm talking about the old the old man who owed so much money, and he basically was walking around with this guy who he made a friend with who had a different key than him. So they were working together for a momentary time until they walked into a room where there was a fucking red vest, and he was like, "Oh, there you go, he's all yours." And he pushed him towards her and locked the door behind him, leaving him to essentially get murdered by this red vest. When, you know, there's basically no honor amongst these, I guess. Like, when he could have just basically, there was enough time for both of them to get out of that room and for them to escape the redhead's attack, the red vests attack. But he didn't choose to do that. Instead, he decided to allow him to be essentially murdered, and it was crazy. And so also we see on this episode, Junie is having her fucking baby in this episode, right? It's so crazy that, like, I mean, like, it actually happens through this entire thing. And it's a very, I guess we knew that, like, I guess comment below, there's no way we couldn't have seen this coming, right? Like, we all saw this coming with, like, her giving birth at some point during or within the games, you know, and the most inconvenient time and the most inconvenient game where, you know, you want to be stealthy and you want to be quiet, she has to deliver a baby. Like, it's pretty good writing. Okay, I give you that. That's pretty good. That's a very interesting type of stakes to put the characters in, or situations to essentially put the characters in, given the parameters that is, you know, the Squid Game. But yeah, so we also see in this episode the shaman lady, who is leading around her followers like, you know, sheep to the slaughter, honestly. And they are following her blindlessly, the blind leading the blind into different situations, into different rooms, into different things, until they run into Namgyu and the Bitcoin guy. And she believes, that's so funny, like, she's like, oh, this way. She believes, she, again, like I talked about, this holier than thou attitude. Oh, I know these spirits. And it's like, she's not connected to any spirits. It's all bullshit. It's all fake. But like, I don't know, I really truly don't understand people like this, because like, they exist in a world where they believe that, like, they don't believe in helping themselves. They just believe in, like, this greater power will always either take control, or they're deluded to take control or be in charge. But like, realistically, like, I mean, whatever your faiths and whatever your beliefs, like, you have to try to help yourself if you want those higher powers or higher beings or whatever you feel, I feel like, to help you out. Don't you think, like, from any perspective, that they would respect you more if you were trying to, you know, look after yourself, like, first, rather than just relying on this, you know, quote unquote higher power. Anyway, but she finds her way to the exit eventually, actually. And she comes so close to being freed from this particular gaming and being able to exit this particular, honestly, nightmarish game. This is probably the darkest game, honestly, in Squid Game. Like, I think, like, for season 2, the darkest game for season 3. Technically season 3, but in the second game that we've ever seen. In the first game that we've ever seen, I think the darkest game was Marbles. That was like life or death. Like, you win or lose. It's like, yeah, it's life or death, win or lose. That's it. It's very cut and blank. It's like, I think the games that are like very, you give like little to no options of death, little to no wiggle room of death, and that's kind of how it happens in Squid Game. They keep constantly progressing it up and more, increasing the stakes. But I think the less wiggle room, I think it makes it a little bit more, I want to say engaging, not that terrifying, but a little more engaging for the audience. And so number 100, the old guy that's walking around, eventually runs into Namgyu and the Bitcoin guy, who is going down slaying everyone. And she has this brilliant idea. I just really need to talk about this, comment on this. He has this brilliant idea as to play dead next to this dead corpse, as they're looking essentially for more and more blue vests to kill. And dude, he comes so fucking close to just being stabbed randomly, because Namgyu is being a little psychopath, stabbing everything even though it's dead, and he stabs the cadaver, the body that's next to the old man that's like pretending to fall asleep and pretending to be dead essentially, and all he did was like rub some blood on his face, and that was about it. It's a crazy situation. And he gives like inches, spaces away from being, murdered, and it's crazy. And I guess, but like also, if you think about it, also is actually really, really good strategy. And he wakes up while they fuck off, and he's like, oh, thank God, until it's weird. This is also kind of like a weird thing. This is like when I talk about it too, because like until like later on, he wakes up and it's like an old man fashion too. He just fucking goes back to sleep. He just I thought it was funny. He just fucking goes back to sleep, and then when he goes back to sleep, he's like, he's awakened by the shaman lady who's trying to take his keys from around his neck, essentially. But I gotta say, like, I mean, I guess like if as far as strategies goes, pretending to be dead or pretending to be asleep, that's not a bad strategy. I guess that's a way to hide in this, kind of game, in this kind of like situation. So I guess it's something to do, but again, he's just showing his cowardice fucking ways of. I'm not saying like I guess I wouldn't have done the same thing, because like it is a move, it is a way of hiding, but I don't think that just falling asleep there is also kind of like practical or safe. He's just an old man. He's like, oh well, I'm on the ground anyway. And he just falls asleep, and like I'm pretty sure like how they shadow it too. It's actually so good with the Squid Game productions. They make it look like obviously some time has passed. So like he fell asleep during this very deadly game, and he just woke up to this thing. So yeah. But the shaman eventually finds, them though. The shaman eventually finds them and finds him and tries to get his key, and they start working together momentarily. And then eventually June, the transgender individual, and I keep messing up her name, I'm sorry. Hyunju, Jo Hyunju, played by Park Sung-hoon, Jo Jun-hyun, Ji Hyun-ju, I'm gonna just say Hyun-ju, Cho Hyun-ju. Oh my God, guys, I'm sorry. I'm trying here with the names, man. I'm really trying. It's just like the show is so good, but we can't pronounce the name right here. That's why I said transgender individual. So the transgender individual encounters actually through this a second red vest that tries to ultimately murder the newly born baby that Junie has, and the old lady that basically helped deliver the baby. And one of the greatest fucking things that happened, I think, was in the series and within this, it was like she takes this red, because when it starts up, it's like, oh shit, she gotta fight another red vest, here we fucking go, right? Instantly she's like, it's on like Donkey Kong, and he attacks, and she breaks him down. She brings him down like with effort, not minimal effort, but it's just, again, this just, I was like, at this point, like even the first and second watch, I was like, get it. She's in. She's like, you're nothing compared to her. Like, she's just fucking, you need to be like afraid of her. Like you fucking like decide to try to take her down, and like, but this is the most like action, energetic, pumping action that like essentially came from this episode. And she manages to get the knife away from him and is able to essentially murder him, taking him down. So she got a kill count, body count on her for 2 now. So she got 2 on her now. And I was just like, God damn, this bitch is incredible. I was like, this is incredible. And she got 2 bites. And then like, what I thought would made this so perfect was like another red vest found her. So that would have been 3 for 3. I was like, I was watching, I was like, oh, y'all bitches will go 3 for 3. You really will fuck with her? You really will fuck with her? She done killed 2 of these bitches. You really will try to fuck her? I think you should just fuck her. Just walk away, dude. Just walk away. And that's what he does. He just like, he sees her, he looks her in the eye, she's like, He just leaves. I was like, yeah, good move, guy. I was like, good move. Like, honestly, like you should fuck off. You shouldn't be you shouldn't be anywhere near. You don't want any of this. You don't want any of that. You just go find another one. Go find another blue vest. Not that one. Not that one. That's not the one to fuck with. Anyway, so during this scuffle, she also finds the way out. The way out to get where to exit the game, and so she can be safe, and she makes it, dude. And this was so, oh man, the first time watching this, this was so like, yeah, she fucking did it. She took down 2 of them motherfuckers. She was ready for a 3rd. She fucking deserves this. But second she steps forward, she's like, oh shit, the baby, like Junie and the baby and the old lady. We can't just fucking leave them there. They're gonna get slaughtered. All right, this place isn't like too far. Let's just walk back. Like, tell them that we found the exit. Get the fuck out of here, and everything will be Gucci. Doesn't go down that way. Unfortunately, doesn't go down that way. Nope. So instead, as she's telling the Junie and the grandma about the exit that she found. Old crypto bitch over here comes up behind her and fucking stabs her, and the way that she dies is so fucking sad, in my opinion. That was so sad to see the first time. I was like, oh fuck. I honestly was like, fuck. Like, we were so close. We made it. We were so close. We were so fucking close. But like, crypto bitch had to come up behind her and stab her, with the irony of the fact that like that lady was just trying to protect her baby, and she had been able to communicate, she lived a little bit longer, she would have been able to communicate exactly where this exit was, so your baby, or the person who you were trying to protect, or you promised to protect, could have been essentially be safe. But but you know what? And when I was watching that scene too, when I was watching that part, I was kind of like, you know what? That's fucked, and I'm kind of mad at it, but also pretty good. Like, because that's just life. That's how life goes. You'd be so fucking close to something. You'd be like tasting it. You'd be like, oh my God, you'd be in it. You'd even be in it sometimes. You'd be in it, or you'd be tasting it. You'd be right there, and then just like that, gone. Happy ending ruined. Dream deferred. I don't know what you want to say. Anything. Like, but just gone. And or someone would snatch it away from you, or take it away from you, or you won't be able to achieve that dream anymore. That was life. I think that was very symbolic of how life, not only how life goes, but how shit goes in life. So that was a very real scene. That was a very real scene, in my opinion. Anyway, so skipping forward a little bit here, the old man and the shaman lady find this door, and they get through, and again this old son of a bitch shows his true colors and fucking basically throws the shaman lady to the ground, not only kicking her out. I can understand maybe kicking her out because maybe she's a dick to you and she kicked her out. You kick her out of the doorway and you go in for yourself. You had to be first, cool. But he takes a fucking key with him, so she can't reopen the door. So she has to go back out there into the game and try to interact and try to open the game as well. And this entire time, this lady is just like cussing this man, cursing him to all, and damning him to all kinds of hell. And that's when Ming Su comes up behind her and is high off his shit, because remember earlier he took those drugs, asking for Semi because he wants to protect her, and he still essentially feels guilty. And at this point, Daeho has actually caught up with Gi-hun, and it's a showdown of them trying to kill one another, because Daeho has a secret knife, and Sang Gi-hun has a knife basically to his neck, who he's thinking about essentially killing him, has desires to kill him. Basically, something that I thought was actually kind of cool and interesting about this episode is that Min Su actually kills the shaman lady that we were talking about earlier. And the way when he kills her only because he's freaking out, because he's on those drugs, and he hears player X, whatever Simi's number was eliminated, and it gets more processed. Audio processes, it's got eliminated. This person's been eliminated, because he's on these drugs, right? And he can essentially, he's the drugs basically affecting his mind, making him think that he killed Semi. And I thought that was actually really, really cool, because when they started distorting the voice and the audio, I was kind of like, because they didn't at first, they did the normal, eliminated voice thing, and then they started to distort it. I was kind of like, wait, is this actually happening? And I don't know why that was a hardcore fake out fucking with my brain kind of thing. I was actually like, wait a minute, is this actually happening, or did he actually kill somebody? What is going on? They tricked me for a while, but they got back on it. Anyway, so with the transgender individual basically dead, they lost their shield. The old lady and Juni and the baby are essentially trying to escape, right? They're essentially trying to escape and get out of the game, because they followed the blood trail from the protector back to the exit door. And now it's down to them, and then they put the keys in and the doors all work, but then out of nowhere the old lady's son appears, and he's begging her to essentially to let him just kill the baby. But instead, the old lady was kind of like, no, let the older generation, let the younger generation live, let this baby live, and don't do that. And she offers up her life to kill me instead, so essentially that he can live. But he basically couldn't do it. He couldn't go through with it, and instead he pushes her aside, turning towards the knife on Juni, trying to kill her. And as a result, the old lady ends up stabbing the son, and yeah, that's basically the end of it for him. And the time basically expires. But before this, Daeho and Gion has their little showdown, and this fight was basically more or less okay, but and we know that the end result of this was a plot armor for Gion. Gion essentially kills Daeho during this struggle in a fashion of strangling, still blaming him for the way the revolt went on his part of trying to get everybody to revolt and killing all those particular individuals within the for the red teams who wanted to basically go away, and staging a coup against this whole to try to take down the whole game thing. And I guess I'm 50-50. It could have gone either way. If Daeho had brought the guns, they might have won the day. But I think that Gion's plan in the first place was still honestly bullshit, because they were safe to an extent where they just let the vote happen. Everybody could have just gotten out there. But it is what it is. But yeah, he ends up struggling him, and this debate of whether whose fault of it is still basically goes on. But that's essentially the end of the episode, guys. And I thought this one was actually a really good one. I know some people felt like this is the highlight of season 3, actually. But I mean, Squid Game is as an art piece. It's an art piece, but also a cautionary tale of, I think there's a bigger message. We talked about it so much on the cast already. We talked about there's so much themes and so much messages that comes along with this particular medium. There's a deeper meaning behind it. We talk about greed and selfishness and murder, and honestly, there's a lot of themes and a lot of messages I think this is kind of communicating. But if you like this and you thought this is your favorite episode of Squid Game, let me know in the comments, guys. And also, guys, don't forget to check out some of my music on Anomaly Beats, Anomaly Beats and Ash the Anomaly. Some new tracks should be coming out fairly soon, when we get the right promotion going for it. But keep up with me, on all the socials as well. The Facebooks, the Instagram, the Twitter. Hit me up, and also check me out in the comments too, guys. I'll definitely be able to interact with you there and talk about how you feel about this episode and what you thought was right and wrong. Lastly, guys, before we go, we're going to talk about Ash's favorite scenes. Favorite scenes in this was the death of, the son by the mother. Because the mother wanted to protect that little baby, didn't want anything to happen to her. Next favorite scene, honestly, was when Gion essentially killed Daeho. And the last favorite scene is when the shaman lady basically is killed by Mitsu, honestly, because she finally got her comeuppance for being a charlatan and being a out of her mind, almost like kind of crazy lady. Anyway, guys, his favorite scene and the on review score is going to be a 5. I think it's a 5. This is really entertainment, actually. 5 out of 5 for season 3, episode 2 of the Squid Games. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. This has been really, really good. Like I said, check us out for all of our socials, Facebook, the Instagram, and the Twitter. You've been really cool if you made it this far. Thank you. And until next time, be safe, be kind, be you. Take care.